It's official! EA has surrendered to Belgium's gambling laws. Because they were breaking the law in Belgium. Obviously. Well, obvious to everyone except EA, apparently. Back in April 2018, the Netherlands declared some types of loot box illegal under its Betting and Gaming Act. Shortly thereafter, Belgium launched an investigation of its own, examining 4 AAA titles, specifically Star Wars Battlefront 2, FIFA 18, Overwatch, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Battlefront 2 avoided any nastiness because it had already removed its loot boxes due to the backlash over its huge pay-to-win bollocks. Blizzard, Valve, 2K Games, they saw the writing on the wall and reckoned it was easier to disable loot boxes in their games now. EA, however, thought otherwise, saying in a statement, "We strongly believe that our games are developed and implemented ethically and lawfully around the world, and take these responsibilities very seriously. We care deeply that our players are having a fun and fair experience in all of our games, and take great care to ensure each game is marketed responsibly, including in compliance with regional rating standards. We welcome the dialogue with Minister Geens on these topics, as we do not agree that our games can be considered as any form of gambling." In May 2018, EA CEO, try saying that 5 times fast, Andrew Wilson added that was because players always receive a specified number of items in each pack, and it doesn't provide or authorize any way to cash out or sell items or virtual currency for real money. Just one small problem there. Even though EA doesn't provide or authorize any way to cash out itself, the black market for doing so is huge, despite EA's own attempts to put a stop to it. In September 2018, EA became the subject of a criminal investigation by the Brussels Public Prosecutor's Office. Now, you'd think EA would fight tooth and nail to the bitter end over this. After all, we're talking about the law. Not the court of public opinion or politics, the law. If they were willing to stick their necks out all on their lonesome over this, one would assume they had a reasonable legal case for doing so. Well, apparently not, because they've caved. From the 31st of January 2019, players in Belgium will no longer be able to buy the in-game bullshit currency. Players can still earn points via the in-game challenges, and the loot boxes themselves are still present. You just won't be able to buy them with real money anymore. And I am thrilled. Thrilled. I can only deduce from this that EA was bullshitting when it dug its heels in, pretending to be a ferocious tigress defending her precious cubs, when in actual fact it was more like a kitten mewing it couldn't open the fridge door anymore. You can't bluff the law. If you have a pair of 2s, you can possibly bluff you have a straight. But if the other guy's got a full house, bullshitting is not going to help you. He knows he's already won. It's just a matter of how much you're going to lose by. Everyone else has folded. Take the fucking hint. I don't know what EA was thinking. Possibly they wanted to hang on and milk Belgium's udder for a little bit more milky cash. Or maybe they're just a bunch of stubborn pricks. They introduced the wider world to the greedy gambling boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2 and were shocked to discover that now everyone knows about their greedy gambling boxes. They shot themselves in the arse and now they're surprised they can't sit down? Either way, first the Netherlands, now Belgium. And if that's not good enough news for you, Japan, China and the United States are already investigating loot boxes as well. There are approximately 200 countries in the world. I say approximately because for whatever reason some are unrecognised, some are new, some are contested. What is clear, however, is that more and more governments around the world are taking an interest in the exploitation of people via gambling boxes. And I do draw a distinction between gambling boxes and loot boxes. To my mind, at any rate, loot boxes are boxes containing loot. Gambling boxes are loot boxes you pay to open. After all, the box is just a digital construct, an animated object. Technically, there is no box. Which means an enemy could technically be a loot box. A loot box that fights back, that you have to open with your weapon. Can you imagine what gamer reactions would be if EA tried to charge you 20 pence per sword swing? They would be fucking slaughtered online. But because it's a box and mainstream media think gaming is a minority pastime, publishers have gotten away with it. Until now. And frequently, you're not even told what the odds are. Yeah, I know some games now do tell you the odds, but that doesn't stop it being gambling. If anything, it confirms it. I don't want loot boxes to disappear. I like getting loot in games, but I do want gambling boxes to be banished up the publishers' arses from whence they came. We're frequently told by the publishers, naturally, that they need all that sweet cash to fund their expensive games. Well, nobody asked you to make games that expensive, you tossers. Horizon Zero Dawn doesn't have gambling boxes. Persona 5 doesn't have gambling boxes. God of War doesn't have gambling boxes. Spider-Man, hang on, let me check this one. Nope, doesn't have gambling boxes. I said in a recent video that the video games industry is now worth more than the rest of the entertainment industry combined here in the UK. Well, it turns out it's also outpacing movie production globally as well. Doubtless a fair chunk of that has to do with gambling boxes. But with that additional prominence comes additional scrutiny. Well, of gambling boxes at any rate. And as more countries turn their attention towards them, and more of them decide they need to be squashed like the loathsome money suckers they are, the more other countries will feel compelled to be drawn in. This is just a small skirmish, but the wider war against gambling boxes looks set to go on.